You're listening to The Sports Moment, January 12th, 2024. Part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Welcome to the podcast. I've had a great time looking back at the 1998-99 Otter Boys Hockey team and their third-place finish in Class A in the state of Minnesota, visiting with some former players and former coach Brad Bergstrom. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed reminiscing with the guys. And today we're going to focus in on the state tournament and the memories that players and Coach Bergstrom have from that special time. And we'll start with Josh Anderson, the leading scorer on that team, who talked about the very satisfying win against Red Wing in the opening game of the state tournament.
Oh, that's a great team. You get there. Getting there's one thing, but to be able to get through that first game and know you're in the winner's bracket there and you have a chance at playing for the state championship is super rewarding. So, it felt pretty darn good to beat that team. That was a real good team.
Benilde St. Margaret's after that, and you talk about a good team. They weren't lacking in anything, were they? That was a tough one.
Oh, that was a really good team. Troy Riddle, a lot of really good players. Quite a few, I think, Division I players on that team. They had so much speed. They were physical. They didn't give you any room. So yeah, that was a tough one. I'd like to give them a shot again, if we could, but they took us. But like you said, that was a really, really good team. I don't know exactly how many guys went on from that team to play at another level, but I know a few for sure did. And they gave us a run for money, that's for sure.
You kind of showed what you were made of as a team, I think, when you bounced back and won that third-place game. That's a tough one to play after your hopes for a state title were dashed with that semifinal loss. To get it together in less than 24 hours and play an early game and come out on top, that had to be good. But what was the talk about after that semifinal loss and going into that final game? Was it just a real hey, we want to finish with a win as a team?
Yeah, like you said, you come off that loss and you know that you're not going to be playing for the state championship, but there's a lot of seniors on that team, and obviously we wanted to end on a positive note for them, but also going into the next season, it's always nice to. Not a lot of teams get to end their season with a win, so. We wanted to try to do that, first and foremost for the seniors on that team to capture third place and also, leading into next year, we wanted to make sure that we were on a positive note going into the following year as well. So we were able to do that. It's tough, it's hard to get up for, that game, knowing that it's not going to be for the state championship. But none of us like to lose, and at the end of the day, you just want to win every game. So that was essentially our mindset. And like I said, we wanted to do it for the seniors and make sure that we ended the way we should. It was a good team. We won a lot of games growing up together, and, luckily we were able to end with a win.
One of the captains, Aaron Olson, also echoed his fellow captain, Josh Anderson, with his memories of how satisfying that victory was over Red Wing, and went on to discuss his team's performance in that state tournament.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us that played on that team as sophomores. So it was fun to, beat them that first game of state. And, they had Johnny Pohl that year when we were sophomores, and his little brother, which I guess wasn't little, he was a big guy back then, Mark Pohl. Was a solid player, played D1 as well. But it was fun to get that win, and, then we ran into a even bigger team. So
Yeah, Benilde St. Margaret's, boy, they had a nice team, and they really played well against the Otters, and I know it was a disappointing day, a 6-0 loss for you, but you guys were pretty resilient. You came back strong in that third-place game, and that's not an easy game to get ready for, is it?
No, it's not. And, losing 6-0, and Ackley, I think, it seemed like about 100 saves that game. It was crazy. Just playing that team, it was playing like a double-A team. Now, I'm down in the cities now, and I see Benilde playing as a double-A team, and they should have been a double-A team back then. They were so good. But you're right, going to the third-place game, people put their heads down, and they just want to move on. And, mostly our seniors. We had a big group of seniors, and we wanted to go out with a win. There's only a couple teams that get to end their season with a win, and that was our goal, that day.
And goalie Kevin Ackley, the winner of the Anderson Lake MVP award for the Otters during that 98-99 season, had these memories of the Otters state tournament experience.
Yeah, I think me looking back on it was kind of bittersweet. We played really well. Finished the season with a win. Not many teams get to do that. But it came to the end of our team, right? And so it was successful. It was fun looking back on everything we've accomplished together. It was awesome. Knowing that we're not going to ever be on the ice together again was sad. So certainly bittersweet. I personally don't think much of it from a personal standpoint. It's more of the team, that how well we could have played. And you're certainly right. We had more ambitions than just going down there getting third. But, funny how hockey works. I got to know Troy Riddle pretty well through the junior life and college life. The goaltender, Dave Rogalski, him and I still touch base every now and again. So it's just kind of interesting how the hockey world works, that a lot of those players on that team I became friends with over the years.
And we'll give the final say on that state tournament appearance to head coach Brad Bergstrom, who remembered it fondly.
Well, for us, because our first year that we played in the state tournament, we had lost to Red Wing in the state semifinals. And through that process, I got to know George Nemanich, their coach, on a very personal level. And we were connected through the Coaches Association. And he had told me after that year that he only had one game, because they had went undefeated. They only had one game all year that they were nervous, and that is when they played us in the state semifinals, because I think it was 2-1 after 2 periods. And he just respected how hard the kids played, etc. So when we played them in that 1999 state tournament, there was a lot of lack of respect, I'll just use that statement, for the Otter hockey team, and the boys took that personally. And so not only was it a nice win to get us to the state semifinals, but also it was somebody who we'd lost to a couple years earlier. And then I got to rib George a little bit after the season was over that we finally snuck one by him. So that was fun too.
Yeah, congratulations. You beat number 6 in the state. Now you get to play the number 1 ranked team, Benilde St. Margaret's, and they were loaded.
Oh, they were. They had so much talent. And, the piece that in the years that I coached, and we made it into the state semifinals 4 times. And when you lose that game, it is so hard on you because you've worked so hard all year long, and the goal is always to have that state champion, playing in that state championship game and having a chance to win. And we just ran into a buzzsaw. And while the boys were disappointed, they didn't lose their focus after that. But Benilde St. Margaret's that's probably one of the best high school hockey teams that I have ever had a chance to either play against, coach against, or see, because they had a lot of talent. And I mean, they had kids that were playing on their 4th line, excuse me, that wound up playing Division III hockey. And so at the end of the day, that's a team that's got an awful lot of talent. And they just kept coming at us in waves, and it was just too much for us. And disappointing for sure that we lost that game, and I know it was hard for the boys.
But what a bounce back. And like you said, that's a difficult one. You lose that semifinal game. You had hopes of playing for the state title. Now you've got to get ready to go and go for that 3rd place trophy. and they came back and really played well and beat Blake, and that had to be so satisfying for the whole group.
It was, and I told the boys before the game started that there are 3 teams in the state of Minnesota that play hockey at the Class A level that are going to end their season with a win. State champion, the consolation champion, and the third place team. And why not have it be us? Why not let that happen to us? And the boys went out there, continued their hard approach. They played very, very hard. Emotionally, it's hard to come back after that loss, and especially we didn't just lose by a couple of goals. Beneld handed it to us, and that was a tough piece for us to swallow. But again, just a tribute to that group and how they played. They came back the next day, and playing at 9:00 in the morning is probably hadn't done that since their youth hockey days. But they came ready to play, and beating Blake was really a lot of fun. And watching the boys get that third place medal placed around over their head and around their neck was very satisfying for me. So it was a lot of fun. And again, one of 3 teams that year that ended their season with a win.
A trip down memory lane 25 years ago with the Otter Boys Hockey team and their best finish ever, 3rd place in the state. Thanks to Josh Anderson, Kevin Ackley, Aaron Olson, Ben Brimhall, and Brad Bergstrom for taking part in our podcast, the different segments during this past week. Looking forward to doing more memories in the future for teams from our area, and we'll do that as soon as next week. Of course, Lake Area Docks and Lifts is one of our sponsors, and they encourage you to join them at their boat shows at the Fargo Dome and the Minneapolis Convention Center as they get ready for spring and summer. And you do too, right? It's about this time of year we really start getting excited about what we know is coming. And at Lake Area Docks and Lifts, they've got 5 locations to serve you.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lots of overtime last night as we look at some big sports moments from the games around the area. The Otter Boys basketball team hosted Sauk Rapids Rice last night. What a night. I've done a lot of games over the years. I don't recall a game that had 16 ties and 17 lead changes. And that's what we got last night at the Kennedy Secondary School Gold Gymnasium. And in overtime, the Otters didn't score, and Sauk Rapids Rice had 3 free throws, and that was the difference, 79-76, the final in overtime. Brandon Evansville won in overtime, beating Border West 71-63. And Underwood had 5 players in double digits last night as they beat Hancock 76-73, also in overtime. Battle Lake got a great performance from Jack McCaulson, who came off an injury to score 28 points in Ashby, and the Battlers beat the Arrows 61-56. Henning continues to roll. Randy Misagata's team is on a great run. They beat New York Mills 74-32. Hillcrest was a 68-38 winner over Rothsay. Noah Brumfield climbing up the all-time scoring list. He is now 4th. He passed Dan Scheid last night as he had an 18-point performance, and he's only 12 points behind Scott Kolbeck, who's next on the list. Also, West Central area wins 53-49 over Montevideo. Barnesville beat Pelican Rapids 71-51. Perham handled Breckenridge 80-39, and Staples Motley got Frazee 76-72. On the girls' side of things, the Otters have won 5 in a row, and Julia Hychek paced them last night with 12 points and 14 rebounds as they won in Breckenridge 62-48. Otter girls have a big game tonight. They'll be hosting Wilmer in a Central Lakes Conference matchup at the Roosevelt Gym. Also last night, Sauk Center over Barnesville 78-63. Rothsay topped Parker's Prairie 61-49. New York Mills defeated Bertha Hewitt 61-51. In girls hockey last night, Anna Jurkis, her 50th career win in goal as the Otters shut out St. Cloud by a score of 3-0. Hannah Bai had a pair of goals, including the empty netter at the end to make it a 3-0 score. What a great career for Anna Jurkis, and that 50th career win came on senior night. Good way to celebrate. And the Otter Boys Hockey team got 2 goals, 2 assists from Kellen Senstrom, and a goal and 2 assists from Leighton Buckmeyer as they beat St. Cloud last night by a score of 5-4. In the water at the Kennedy Secondary School pool, Fergus Falls gets a dual win over Wilmer, 91-89. The Otters will be involved in their true team meet on Saturday. And the first place finishers last night, Matthew Toole had a victory in the 200 free and in the 500 free. Jaden Kopinski won the 100 freestyle, and Reese Hansen was first in the 100 backstroke. The Otters also won the 400 freestyle relay with Landon Vodova, Reese Hansen, Adrian Blondeau, and Matthew Toole. And the Otter girls gymnastics team had 8 career-high scores recorded by various gymnasts throughout the meet as they won a tight one with Wilmer, 134.15 to 133.90. Well, that'll do it for our podcast this week. Have a great weekend, and we will look forward to visiting with you again next week on Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson, sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.